Okay, so let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive into the Tamiya Frog. And really, the story around the performance parts that, well, kind of defined that whole golden age of vintage RC racing.
It's all about how this specific buggy, the Frog Kit number 58041, came out late 83, how it became this flawed masterpiece.
Flawed masterpiece, yeah, because Tamiya, they launched this really popular, really revolutionary buggy, that ORV chassis, right? Off-road vehicle platform, super light.
Exactly. Lightweight was key. But that lightness brought problems. Two pretty serious vulnerabilities if you wanted to actually race it competitively.
Right, and those vulnerabilities basically created this huge gap in the market.
Totally. You had first that front suspension, just simple coil springs, no real damping.
So bouncy, very bouncy.
Very bouncy. And second, the differential. Inside the gearbox, it had a tendency to just, grenade itself under stress.
Okay, so a recipe for frustration if you're trying to win.
Absolutely. And this is where Proline Racing comes in, and what they did was just a masterclass in market focus.
How so? Because other companies were probably trying to fix that diff, right? The mechanical bit.
Yeah, lots were. But Proline, they pretty much zeroed in on the contact patch.
Meaning tires and wheels.
Tires and wheels. They figured, look, the most effective, the most visible performance gain you could get, especially quickly, was sorting out the grip.
Okay, that's interesting. So skipping the complex gearbox fix, at least initially, and going straight for the rotor.
Right, because you could maybe nurse a weak diff along for a bit. But if the car couldn't stick to the track, you weren't going anywhere. Traction was paramount, especially on the loose dirt tracks back then.
Okay, so if traction's the number one thing, what were the absolute must-have tires? Like the first thing you bought after the kit?
To the Frog. You get to start with the rear. The Proline number 1020 OctiGrab rear tires. Mid-1988, these came out.
OctiGrabs, okay.
Single most important upgrade, probably. They just gave you so much more forward bite, more stability. It really did transform the car from a fun kid into, like, a serious contender.
And sorting the rear grip probably made the front-end issues even more obvious, yeah? That notorious Tamiya push.
Exactly. That understeer. The car just wouldn't want to turn in thanks to that undammed front. So Proline had an answer for that, too.
What was it?
Number 1001 Razorback front tires. Much earlier, maybe 85, 86.
Razorbacks, and they had those sharp ribs.
Sharp parallel ribs.
Yeah.
They weren't just about grip. They were a tuning tool. They helped the front tires cut through the loose stuff, physically fight that understeer, and give you, actual steering response.
Okay, so you've got traction sorted front and rear. Now you can actually drive it fast. What breaks next? Durability must have been a headache.
Oh, absolutely. Racing means finishing, right?
Yeah.
And the stock Tamiya parts, well, the first thing everyone seemed to upgrade after tires were the wheels.
The stock three-piece ones.
Yeah, those were kind of weak. Prone to cracking, screws coming loose. So Proline offered the number 28504 1.5-inch 100R wheels.
100Rs, and they were better because...
Yeah. One-piece design, much stronger, and lighter, too. Less rotating mass, more durable. Solved that problem pretty effectively. You weren't shedding wheels mid-race.
Makes sense. And protection. That front end must have been vulnerable in crashes.
Totally. The stock Tamiya bumper was, let's just say, brittle. It would shatter pretty easily.
So another essential upgrade.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The Proline front bumper, that's part number 4502. This thing was way tougher. It became pretty much mandatory if you were running aggressively. It absorbed impacts, protected the chassis, kept you in the race after a hit.
So when you put it all together, the tires, the wheels, the bumper, it's like you're building a Proline Frog almost.
Kind of, yeah.
Right.
And that's the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
Proline built this whole racer's identity. If you showed up at the track in the 80s and your Frog had the full set of Proline gear, the OctiGrabs, the Razorbacks, the 100R wheels, that bumper, it signaled you were serious.
Right. It wasn't just parts. It was a statement.
Exactly. And that very social club racing scene, it mattered. It was this perfect, almost unintentional symbiosis. Tamiya made the affordable, popular canvas.
And Proline provided the high-performance paints to make it truly competitive.
You got it. That's a great way to put it.
And, this isn't just ancient history. For vintage RC collectors today, finding these specific Proline parts, man, it's a huge part of the hobby.
Oh, definitely. Especially things like that 4502 front bumper. They're scarce now. They're not just plastic parts. They're like artifacts.
Artifacts, yeah. They let restorers recreate that perfect moment in racing history.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? How often does this happen where the original product, maybe it has some, brilliant flaws.
Yeah.
It's the dedicated community, the focused aftermarket companies that really shape its legacy by solving those problems.
Yeah.
It really shows you the power of that kind of niche focus. Something to chew on, maybe.